Serena Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Makes me that much stronger, makes me work a little bit harder, makes me that much wiser. Thanks for making me a fighter, thanks for making me a fighter.
Serena, lovely to see you. As always, Serena Williams. Serena, it's fabulous to have you back on the show. As always, you look absolutely stunning.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I've missed you.
Well, I've missed you very much. Do you think about me often when you're not here on the show?
I do. I've been dreaming about you, and yeah. Yeah. You have to do your sexy face for me.
Maybe later.
Okay.
Hey, congratulations. You just won yet another big, important competition. You just beat your sister again.
Yeah, it was really, really hard because we both weren't at our best physically. We've been just going on all this whole year from January, and we've just been fighting. But in the end, I was able to win it. I was really excited.
This was in Qatar, wasn't it? This was...
Yeah.
Now, what does this count as? This isn't one of the Grand Slams, is it?
No, it's the year-end championship, so only the 8 of the female players are invited, so it's the 8 people who's done the best of the whole year,
right.
And it's like a round-robin format, and it's the Sony Ericsson Championship. So I hadn't won that since like 2001, so it's good. I was excited.
Does it make it better beating your sister, or is it worse somehow, or do you never even, that doesn't enter into it?
You know what? Honestly, it's good to beat her in the finals because it's like we both reached the maximum. We both got to where we wanted to get in the tournament, and you know, obviously we both want to win, but only one person can win. So yeah.
I love seeing it because it's quite easy in the finals, but it's the fact that they don't have your second name. Of course, it could be Williams versus Williams. So the fact that it's Serena versus Venus.
Yeah, I don't understand like why they don't just say game Serena or game Venus. It's always like, especially when a tie break, and we're always in a tie break. It's like 1-0 Venus Williams, 2-0 Venus Williams, 2-1 Serena Williams. It's just weird to like hear them be so repetitive. It's kind of weird.
If either of you find the right person, settle down, and get married.
Yeah.
Would you keep the Williams name just for the tradition of that, or would you switch it and then will we have your married name up there?
Well, I don't know. Like, my dad has only girls, so it's just kind of weird. Like, we're like the last 2 girls that he has.
So you don't want to give up the Williams name?
I don't want to give it up, but I'm not married to it.
No,
so.
no. And
at this point, if I can get married, I'm ready.
Well, think about it. Are you looking
at... why not?
Are you with someone at the moment? Do you have a partner at the moment?
I always say that
Jimmy's waving. Jimmy's waving. And round the corner, his girlfriend is here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's it.
He's gone for a piss. I'm golden.
That's how much he loves the tennis.
No, I always say that I'm dating my racket because I'm just so busy and so
And I guess
crazy
also you don't want people to get too aware of that. You want to, if you ask someone, you want to give it a chance to grow naturally and see where it goes.
Yeah, and see where it goes,
And yet in your book, I've been reading Serena's book, I've got it here, My Life, Queen of the Court. You talk about, you don't name him, but you talk about, in one period, you talk about a guy you were dating.
Yeah, well, that is his name, so-and-so.
So-and-so.
Yeah, I think everyone has a so-and-so in their life. You know, you date someone, it doesn't work out, and then... You know, but you can only have one so-and-so, and that's what you call them, so-and-so.
Yeah, so he's not someone you were particularly fond of once it ended. It didn't end...
No, so-and-so, no, it wasn't fonded. But, you know, it was what it was. And in the book, Queen of the Court, I just talk about how, you know, some of the things that he did, which actually I look back on, I'm laughing out loud. It's so hilarious to me. But,
just not returning your call, he blanked you afterwards, which you find it hard to believe. You know, I know this seems odd, but someone as successful as you, as glamorous as you, I always find it hard to believe when I hear that they're going through the same kind of relationship nonsense that most
Am I
people
being
do.
selfish and just being like, you should at least call me back?
Yeah.
But I just thought, you know, anyway, that was really young. I was like
But that
20,
kind of inspired you to go on and play better, didn't it? I mean, you was it because you were angry, you put the anger, or you wanted to show him what he was missing out on?
Yeah, I was like, I was like, okay, I wanted him to see me every time he turned on the TV, and I guess that motivated me to win a lot. So everyone should get a so-and-so, change their career.
So you and Venus, of course, you share a house now. Back then, I guess you were still at home with your folks.
We've shared a house since I was 18.
Right. How does it work out at home? Is one of you tired in the other, or does one of you cook more or less than the other?
Well, we live together, so when I'm at home, especially around the holiday seasons, we're not traveling. So I like to cook. I like to try new different things. I made a dessert that was supposed to have, you know, that cream filling, like the chocolate filling that melts out. Of course, it didn't. It never melted. And I even broke dishes, but
So you're not a naturally gifted cook?
No, but I love to cook, and I love, trying new things. They don't always come out right, and sometimes Venus tastes it, and she doesn't say much. She just eats a little bit, and then she puts the plate to the side. I'm thinking, you better eat it, because I slaved over it for so long. But she pays all the bills, and I think I got the better end of the stick.
Wow, so she pays the bills, and
Yep,
you
and I
occasionally...
just live there, and you sleep there, and...
And you just cook something badly for her and get angry when she doesn't eat it.
Isn't it a great relationship? I might not need to get married, because this is perfect. I have, a nice house that she pays for. It's great.
Let me ask you about your dad, because he's a remarkable figure. I mean, your whole family, obviously, is it's a fascinating family you have, but what a remarkable man he seems to be, because really, without the way he guided you and without his kind of belief and his inspiration, you wouldn't be the person you are today, quite literally, in terms of your tennis playing, I would have thought.
I even dedicated my book that I just came out with to my dad. I felt like without him, I wouldn't be anywhere. I mean, he had this dream and this vision, and my mom was a big part of it as well. Like, she totally supported everything that we did. But my dad, it was his original dream and his original goal, and without that initial idea, then there would be no Williams sisters. And I just think that I'm so blessed and happy to be a part of something so cool.
And is it an easy relationship having him coach you? Because sometimes, and I'm probably reading too much, sometimes when I'm watching, and I watch most of your matches when I can, I watch it and I get the feeling sometimes...
You watch all my matches.
All of them I can. Well, they're not all shown over, but when they're on...
always text me after every match, even if I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's like, can this guy leave me alone already?
But I always get the one with the smiley face and the heart back. But are there times when it doesn't work out so well? Are there times when you have momentary, you fall out with him?
Yeah. No, I yell. Like, I yell at my dad a lot on the court. Like, I'm really intense because I'm a perfectionist, and if it's not perfect, I get angry. And then sometimes, like, he tells me that he's like, okay, Serena, sometimes I don't want to tell you anything because you'll yell at me, and it's just like, and I feel bad. And then my mom too, she's my coach as well. And sometimes, but this only happens on the court. I wouldn't dare dream of doing this off the court.
So off the court, you have respect for them as your parents. On the court, it's a professional thing.
On the court, it's a professional thing. And that's a hard thing to kind of differentiate, because you never know, like, because they are your coach and they're trying to help you, but they're still your parents. So it's like, it's a really, really thin line, and you have to know how to cross it. And sometimes I'm just like, I'm trying. And my dad's like, do this. I'm like, I'm trying to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you've got to do it. And, it's frustrating for us both, but it works out. I would never have a different coach.
Well, while we're talking about what you say, you're losing your temper occasionally, what I'm going to ask you about now, of course.
Gosh, I walked right into that, didn't I?
Well, you set it up.
Honestly, I was just thinking, gosh.
This thing at the US Open, where you lost your temper with the lines person at the end. Shall I explain what happened here briefly? Or
if you insist.
Well, I was watching at home, and I was amazed, because I could see you weren't where you wanted to be in the game.
Yeah, no.
It was the end of the second set. You lost the first set. It was 5-6, I believe.
Yeah.
40-15. To
30-15.
30-15 to Ms. Clijsters, and you go to serve, and obviously this has got to be just about, you're really fighting to stay in the game here, and you want to turn this game around.
Right.
And then the lines person called you on a footfall.
Right, on a second serve.
On a second serve. So immediately the point went to Kim Clijsters, and so you're 15-40 down, and you got very angry with her. Now, what was the deal there? Did you think that was it not a foot fault, or you just thought it was inappropriate that she called you a stage, or you just lost your temper?
Well, it's just, there's an etiquette. There's like an unwritten law. Like, if you're in the semifinals of a major tournament and you don't make calls that are that close, that you don't even know if it's the correct call. And, I looked, the call I don't think was correct looking back at film. So that was kind of frustrating as well. And, it's just, I never foot fought before that tournament or after. So that was another thing, and that was the second time I had a terrible experience at the US Open. So my reaction was 200% wrong. And I've admitted that I don't think my reaction was good, but I think it got to show a lot of people that I am human. I'm not a robot. I'm not perfect. And I talk about that in the book a lot. I'm not perfect. I do make mistakes. So everyone makes mistakes, but it's important to learn from that and to be able to move on from it, and then to just not make the same mistakes in the future.
What are you going to do after tennis? What are you going to do? Because you're still pretty much in the prime of your game, and you've got many years ahead of you. But obviously, there is a point when, and this is I always find it quite sad, especially sports people who I love watching. You get to the stage where they have to decide not to carry on.
One day I'm not going to be on the Wimbledon.
And I know you've done a little bit of acting.
Yeah.
You've got the book, of
I
course.
really enjoy acting. I like being in front of the camera. I think I should be an action star, like an action kind of hero.
Well, there's Serena in... that's
yeah.
ER you in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually died in that. I mean, I always wanted to die in acting. I was like, you know, I used to do a lot of work, and I was like, gosh, I want to die in something. And then I died in that, and I was miserable. I was like, I don't want to die anymore. So my dying in acting career is over. So now I'm moving on to more action roles.
You're going to kick a little bit of ass,
yeah, I
can
can do a real mean chop and a kick, and I can jump high,
Yeah, we
and I
know
can
that.
run fast,
And we
I
know
can
you
cartwheel.
you can certainly grunt as well.
I would totally be the first person to grunt while doing action
Which
scenes.
like Arnie had You'll Be Back. You can just go, hoo-yah, whatever the noise is. OK. Earlier on, we had a little shot of you hitting the ball against Jimmy Carr. 5% you gave me. Should we have a look? Should we see? Would you like to see Robbie now, or should we save it? Would you like to see Robbie playing Serena? OK. How did Robbie do against you?
Robbie did better than I thought.
OK, hold it. Before you cheer that, how badly did you think he was going to be there?
I thought he would be worse. Sorry, Jimmy. But I thought he would be worse than Jimmy, but he was better.
So Jimmy was the worst?
Oh, sorry, yes.
Can you hear that? That's my heart breaking.
Let's have a look. This is Serena serving against Robbie Williams.
Okay, you ready? Yeah. See? I gotta say.
Oh, no, look at that.
He was so cool about
That's so
it.
annoying. He's all cool at the end. Wait, look at this. Look at that. He's got the good follow-through then. And look at this little twiddle he gives. Look, this is the man who's very confident with where he is in life. Oh, yeah. And another for luck. Look. He so thinks he's James Bond. Serena, it's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
You
It's
are
always
my
fun to be here.
favourite tennis player on the
Yay.
planet. Great to see you play. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Serena Williams.
Thank
Great to see you again. Thank you. And thank you for joining me.
you very much.
Serena Williams, ladies and gentlemen.